Welcome back to VOB.
Yeah, don't mind me clearing my throat there. That's not even me clearing my throat.
No, I'm good. There's a 90% chance I'm gonna cut that out.
What?
And also your well, oh shoot, now I can't cut it out because I just talked about it.
Yes, you did.
Well, otherwise there would be like a whole minute of dead, or like 15 seconds of dead air. Well, guess we're keeping the throat clearing in. There have been times when I'm editing this where I do very rarely will I cut anything you say, because it almost feels like a jerk thing to do to cut something you say. Like, cause I'm the like to pass judgment, you're like, this is all right. Justin's performance isn't good enough here. I've definitely cut a lot of things I've said though.
Really funny.
As long as it doesn't leave too much dead air. The only time I'll cut anything you do is, I noticed when you're playing Metal Gear Rising, if there was something funny going on, you would sometimes like chuckle, but then wouldn't really explain why you chuckled. So you would like,
just randomly laugh.
Well, if something that might have been like amusing or funny, because there's some campy parts in that game, but I just kind of felt it was weird to like leave in like, for this cutscene to be going on, something like a random chuckle,
right? And
like no sort of follow up as to like what you thought was funny. It was just like, it would just be like if we were just staring at this like silently and like.
I actually do that a lot. Like I'll randomly laugh at things a lot.
So that's like the only time I would cut something out. I said, I think. Well, there was one time I made a semi-offensive comment where, well, it was because I didn't know Abkhazia was a real place, and so I sort of made a crack about how, the country's called Abkhazia. Of course, it's crummy. And I was like, and then later I realized, oh wait, that's a real place. That's incredibly offensive. And so I cut out. I was just like, I think I cut it out and maybe like moved up like another piece of discussion, like a few seconds up.
Nice. That's really funny.
Oh yeah, I was super like conscientious of like things I said. Another funny thing I realized happened was when we were fighting Mistral, and this is like, we were talking earlier about how our views of LP like actually have doing it kind of like changed our perspective on things.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And so one thing that still frustrates me in LP is like, oh, like they totally got this fact about this game wrong, like especially if, like, they claim that they know a lot about the game.
Right.
Like, they got this fact wrong. How could, like, that's so dumb. And so there was a moment where
wow, right next to each other. That never happens. Nice.
Awesome. So there was this moment where we were fighting Mistral, and like all of a sudden, like there's a smoke screen. And I was like, oh wow, I didn't realize Mistral could use smoke bombs. And you were like, yeah, she totally can. And then later, and this was like after I watched the footage, like maybe several times, I looked and I threw the smoke bomb. Like, I just didn't realize it.
It's really funny.
Like somehow I guess I just accidentally tapped a button, and like there's an animation for throwing smoke bombs too. I just wasn't paying attention. Oh gosh, yeah.
Hey, this is your first ship, man. You can do this.
I thought I did play. Oh, you know what? That was last night. I played a ship.
I love how you were practicing.
Dude, like when we kind of abandoned the Sonic thing because our footage
got corrupted.
Yeah, that was the other thing. Because what originally happened was, and I guess it's a good thing it happened because then it forced us to stop.
Right.
But it was because we accidentally deleted our save data.
Yep.
But
that sucked.
Like, so I thought
we didn't accidentally delete it. I don't know what the heck happened, man.
I think you need to manually save it or something.
Right.
Like it's weird. Like the Steam version of Sonic 3 and Knuckles does it too, where it's really finicky about when it saves your data. You have unless you're using save states. Like that's why you kind of have to use save states, so you know exactly what you're saving.
Gotcha.
Otherwise it just might not save. But anyway, like after that happened though, like I literally like, and this was before I knew the footage was corrupted.
Right.
But I literally played through the game, got all the emeralds up until Ice Cap Zone where we stopped. So we could like start so we could like use my PC and start it up again.
Right.
And then I was like, you know what? There's a good chance we'll finish the next time, and there's like some bonus material I want to do. So I like went through and like beat the game with all the emeralds with a few other characters, so I could demonstrate. Press start for me.
Oh, sorry.
I played the game and beat with the other characters, so I could show off what their super forms look like. So I went that. Yeah, I put in a decent amount of effort. And I also and you know what else I did? We ended up not recording the next week, but like what I also did throughout the week was I did practice special stages.
Oh, nice.
And it's an awesome. That's the great thing about save states is you can practice stuff.
Right.
And so I basically like practice each special stage. Like I did it until I could like consistently get it like 5 times in a row or something. Like,
wow, dude. That's some dedication.
Just so I could yeah. So so when we're ready to do Sonic 3 again,
we will do Sonic 3 again.
I am prepped. But I mean,
although now I kind of want to play Sonic 2, but
okay.
Mostly for Casino Night.
For Casino Night?
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, I don't know. There's just so many games. Like, that's the other thing is that I realized that, like, I don't know how long our episodes are, like 10 to 15 minutes, but like,
yeah, usually.
It takes a lot. Like, you don't really cover much in 15 minutes.
No, not really.
So it's like there are all these games we want to play, and it's like, and sometimes it's really hard for us to meet up.
Especially the bigger games. I don't think it's gonna be really hard.
Yeah, there's a part of me that was like, oh, it'd be so cool to do Wonderful 101. And
that would be cool, actually.
Yeah. But it also, well, I mean, it's also the thing where it's like, oh, we worked on that game.
True.
So
we're just never gonna play a game we worked on ever again.
We'll see. Like, pull the curtain back a little bit. So we've done some voiceover engineering for some games like Metal Gear Rising, Wonderful 101.
Very proud of those
and so one
games.
of the things that I was sort of like iffy about was like I felt like I couldn't like give criticism like
sure.
where I really needed to, because again, I don't think anyone we work with's ever going to watch this stuff. It's just the idea.
You say that, however.
Right, but if like somewhere on the internet, like I was like, oh, this part sucked or something, you know, like that exists in public. Like,
sure.
It's just the idea that
I'm not against making those statements, but I understand what you're saying totally.
Right. Well, guess yeah. I mean, it's just I just feel more free to criticize something when I'm not like involved with it.
Absolutely. I'll be honest, we spend very little time actually criticizing games typically, but
yeah. Well, I don't know. Actually looking back at our footage, I think I spend more. I spend a little bit more time than you do. I'm just naturally critical of like just game stuff.
No, I hear you.
Yeah.
I love how this guy is the king of the water world, yet he clearly looks like he spends an awful lot of time in like the Sahara Desert.
Hey, let's not get racist here. But yeah, just going back. Also, I think one of the reasons I'm critical of game stuff is that I won't say I grew up in this time because it really didn't start until like after like high school.
Right.
But like there's like there's this huge more than it used to be. There's a lot of just shows centered around being negative. Like,
oh, very true.
Like it kind of started with the angry video game nerd.
Yeah.
And then like more people kind of latched onto it, and like there aren't many good imitators of that kind of thing. But
it's easy to tear something apart. I mean,
it's also fun to listen to something get torn apart, though.
Sure.
If you know, like
it can be. I don't know. I tend to not really like things where they just tear things apart.
Are you not a big fan of Zero Punctuation?
See, he'll tear something apart, but he'll also give it credit where credit is due.
Sometimes. There are times when
to be fair, I haven't watched Zero Punctuation in a long time.
It's one of those things where I really enjoyed. There was a period when I was in college where I didn't really play video games that much, especially like current video games. And so I watched Zero Punctuation, and it would seem a lot funnier.
Sure.
And then when I started actually playing the games he did play, I was like, oh wait, this is wrong though. like his review of Monster Hunter, which
I haven't seen that one.
It's it's sort of, the thing about Zero Punctuation, he definitely has this view that I think he's actually changed. That's the one thing I do like about Yahtzee is that if his viewpoint changes, like he's not against having his viewpoint change.
Sure.
Which is cool. Like he's very strong in his beliefs, but if he does kind of see a game that really demonstrates something that goes against what he said previously, he's totally open to being like, hey, I changed my mind about this.
Sure.
I'm allowed to do that. Thing about Monster Hunter, it's a really slow burn, that game.
Yeah.
And it's reading his review, it's really clear that he only it's clear he only played up to like the really crummy missions,
right?
Because it's a super slow burn. Like every once in a while, I'll see someone on like an internet message board saying like, "I'm starting my file over again." It's like, why would you start?
Why would you do that?
Yeah, just unequip all your good armor and just go like just build up, you know, your armor again. Like pretend your good armor doesn't exist. Because that's the way you really level up in Monster Hunter. Is just
it's your equipment.
You don't actually level up your guy. You're not stuck with your stat boost. But yeah, it was really clear he just kind of played the really base, like the missions where
it's weird two-eyed creature.
And his rebuttal to that would probably be that like a game that takes so long to get to the good stuff isn't really worth playing. Which he's actually kind of changed his mind about since then. I think when he played, I think Dark Souls kind of changed his mind about that.
Oh yeah.
But it's frustrating to watch like something get ripped apart for something that's clearly like not right.
Right.
Because he basically described Monster Hunter as like you don't fight big monsters, you fight a bunch of small monsters and just that die in 2 hits, which is what you do the first.
There's a lot of that, yeah.
First 4 hours of the game. But then later you get to the big, you know, the really big monsters.
The really cool monsters.
But anyway, the point I was sort of getting at was that like I think I sort of, when I wasn't playing games, I was still watching those shows, and so like for a long time my kind of exposure to games was these shows that were just kind of like, this is why this sucks and which, you know, and the thing I do like is that the ones who are good at it usually comes from a place of passion, like they're really into games, like they really care about games. That's why they're kind of saying like, this is wrong, this is right, and things like that.
True. I mean, I can understand criticism when it's not necessarily, it doesn't have to be positive criticism, but it's also not just taking things for just being great just because they're there, you know?
Yeah. But I think that sort of, it's especially, you know, and the internet kind of caters to just throwing out a negative opinion about things.
Wow, that's the world, man. Look at reality television.
That's true. But it's but the internet gives you a bigger microphone.
That's true.
And I think it's just gotten to the point where we're just, at least for me, like it's just so natural to want to like rip on something, and then I kind of take a step back and be like, well, and then I don't know. It's a tough thing I think about, because on the one hand it's like, well, can I do any better? No. But at the same time it's like, well, that's not my job to do. I don't know. Yes. Karibo shoe? That's cool.
It's okay, I get another one here.
See, I've never used that weapon before.
The shoe?
Yeah. There's a shoe and
I think there's only 2 levels you can even get it. There might be one in World 8. Oh. Ah, damn it.
Oh, you know, there's a shoe in Super Mario 3D World, but it's an ice skate.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not a... Well, you can still jump on enemies, though.
That's cool.
Yeah. I was surprised about how many power-ups were in Super Mario 3D World. I literally thought it was going to be...
They kind of went away from that after Super Mario World, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like, Mario 64 didn't have all that many.
And Mario World didn't have that much either. It was just Cape, Fire Flower, and Mushroom. But now, but yeah, like, 3D World had, like, a decent, like, a good solid amount of stuff. Like, power-ups and also, like, kind of things you can sort of equip yourself, like, wear. That were power-ups as well, but not in the traditional, like...
I know I think about it, even Mario World, like, had relatively few.
Yeah. But yeah, when I first got Mario 3D World,
What just happened there? Did a babong go off, maybe? I don't know.
I'm almost positive that that's not even visible on the capture. Yeah, I honestly thought it was just gonna be good for you. I honestly thought that it was just gonna be Mushroom, Fire Flower, and Catsuit.
Right.
Then there was so much more.
That's cool.
So it's a good game.
Next time on the booth, we talk about things in a respective way. Don't forget to subscribe and like if you actually watch this, because no one has yet.
Like, comment, and subscribe, you know.